So talk amongst yourselves for 5 minutes. Enjoy this picture of my cat in her rightful place at the center of the room. And I'm going to be talking about how to contact people, etc. Indiana, blah, blah, blah. So put your thinking caps on and enjoy this picture of my cat. Hi. Hello. 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 Um, how is everybody? Somebody has bug bites. Ba, 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 ba. So, yes, not yet. Well, okay. So, did Andy take the one? No, she hasn't gone for her smoke break yet. She's actually asleep under the footstool. It's been hot lately. She's like, you know what? Fuck this shit, people. How is everybody? I know that there were a smattering of folks. Actually, hold on one second here. There were a smattering of people who sent me little texty poos about wanting to talk about some of there have been a few people on my YouTube page, which I'm not using very much, but that had asked about, can you repost this? Can you repost that? About some of the emails and contacts I had made over the course of the Delphi fiasco. And so I kind of went through, since I guess the first email I sent regarding this case was back in December. And it was to, well, I guess the first thing was a call to Nick McCleland's office. But I think people want to know a little bit about what that looks like when you contact. I think people are feeling very helpless, I think, if I had to put it that way. I know some of you probably saw All Eyes. All Eyes, are you lurking in the background somewhere? I don't know, maybe not. But just saw that she was rejected. Her request for exhibits was rejected by Jody. And I do, I know that there's been a lot going on. People feel helpless and real pissed off. And I think that that's right. And that's the correct feeling to have. So, yeah. So what I wanted to do was tell you what I've done. And I mean, what do you think the sense is? I think that I'm trying to get a sense on where folks are with Delphi and accountability and lack thereof, because I can go through all of the contacts that I've made to Carroll County Prosecutor's Office, to the ISP, and to the Office of the Inspector General. I can go through any or all of that. If it's helpful, to people. So, what is helpful? What's a helpful place to start? What do people want to know about access to public information or righteous indignation or contacting your local officials? Do you want to make some calls while we're here? I mean, I can always call somebody up. I am a one-party state. So I mean, we can start anywhere. Yeah, if goal, yeah. I mean, sure. But it's I was talking the other day about the need to understand the very sort of core of and the hyper local level of crank calls. Well, let me start here. I was actually going through some of my voice because I typically, when I do an interview with somebody, I ask, hey, can I record you for background purposes only? And that's okay. Some people record, if they're doing work on background. But generally speaking, if you're in a one-party state, you don't really need permission to record somebody. However, like I said, if I'm recording somebody on an interview, I will ask permission. Hey, this is going to be on background, whatever. However, when I call public officials, I do record the audio because number one, I need to make a record that I contacted them through phone calls, through emails, etc. And so I can play a couple of those for you. Thoughts? I don't know, maybe. So why don't we start maybe, I think this was in December. We can start, and you guys let me know if you can hear this. So let's see. I might have to Okay, so tell me if you guys can hear this.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear that? That's me testing.
Okay.
Can you hear that? Y'all? So this is from December, I think.
Okay, prosecutor's office. This is Dee. Can I help you? Yes, hi. My name is Andrea Copsa. I'm calling. I'm a journalist working on a story about the recent Delphi case. I'm sure you've been inundated with calls, but I was I would like to request. I don't know what your procedure is. Request just an interview or a couple questions to Mr. McCleland. Do you know, is that something I could possibly do through you? What I probably have to do is, what I'd have to do is it's been had the holidays and I know he's sure. What I could probably do is I can leave him your name and number. Sure. And if he has the time or has availability to do that. Sure. I know they still have, I think the other thing going on, so I don't know how much he can.
So, okay. So this is back in December, right around the holidays, whatever. So this woman was very nice. I don't know, just Carroll County D. And she made reference. Does anybody know what else? She said they still have that other thing going on. Does anybody know what the hell that means? So again, December 2024. What other thing did they have going on? Anyway, back to the call.
Can't do so. Yeah, no, I get it. It was just actually, he might not even be the right person to ask. It was just about some of the issues surrounding, the leaked photographs. So
okay. Now it's come back to me. So this is when I called I'd already sent emails at this point, and I think I shared those in a previous. Actually, let me see. Maybe I didn't share those in a previous image file. Please stand by. So I sent emails to Nick McCleland, who doesn't use his an official email address, which is sketchy in and of itself. He doesn't have a .gov address, and that's weird and inappropriate. But sent him emails, and so the end of December, after the sentencing of Mr. Allen, I started, researching and making phone calls to people and asking questions. And so one of the things that I was very interested in, if I remember correctly, is the alleged leak of the crime scene photos. And I believe that Mr. Westerman, the charges were dropped or something like that. So again, keep in mind the time frame here. And I literally had just gotten into Delphi, where some people had been occupying this space for years. So I was treading very lightly when I was speaking with the prosecutor, the prosecutor's office. So let me go back here.
Leaked photographs. So, but I can give you my name and number, and I do know it's, again, the holidays. Sure. But okay, so my name is Andy, Andy.
Hang on a second.
And my last name is Kopsa,
Kopsa.
SA.
And my number is?
And my phone number is 646.
Oh, no.
59.
Oh, no, we're not going to do that. Hang on.
And yeah, I'm not really on deadline. I do long form journalism, so I kind of have a flexible schedule. But it was mostly about, I'll give you just quickly, it was about the dismissal of charges against Mr. Westerman. And I just had a question about that, because I know that was one of the leak issues. So, okay. Yeah. And so I don't know one from the defense team that yeah. And so I don't know if Mr. Westerman, that name doesn't sound familiar. Oh, Westerman. I'll write it down. Yeah, it was okay. Mitch Westerman, I believe, was the one from the defense.
She said the name didn't sound familiar. Okay.
Defense team that leaked photos. So I know that was an issue, and I just wanted to do a follow-up on that. I hadn't heard anything about that at the press conference the other day.
Oh, God, that press conference. Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I will give them a message for you. Well, great. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. So that, I think, was my first phone call to Nick McCleland's office. And again, you remember the timing of all of this was right around the holidays. I wish somebody a happy New Year. And then in February, I called back to try to find out about accessing some of the public documents. So let me see if I can play this. So this is from February 2025. So like a month and like maybe a little over a month after that phone call.
Carroll County Prosecutor's Office. Yes, hi. I was trying to reach either Mr. McCleland or somebody that handles his records requests. Okay. Maybe Mr. McCleland that probably needs to do that. Let me take a message.
Hang on. Okay, so I haven't listened to these in a while. Mr. McCleland's handling his own records requests. I think, given the benefit of the doubt here with Carroll County and the people answering the phones, look, I'm from a small community. I know how that works. You have, the treasurer, auditor, and clerk of courts are all in the same office. But so, again, February 2025.
Sorry, just one moment. It's okay. Okay. What's your name? My name is Andy, A-N-D-Y. And the last name is Kopsa, K-O-P-S-A.
God, did I take my phone number out of this
I've
one?
made several requests for document public information from just email logs and stuff that the state of Indiana requires being kept. And I have not gotten a rejection or a response. And is this into a specific case or? It's all Richard Allen. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I do know that some of that is, I believe with, Judge Goals, Jody, her assistant, but I do know that Mr. McCleland has that's not precluded from by court order or anything like that. So I'm just trying to get an answer one way or another what's available. If I can do that, that would be great. Okay, I will. Well, let me give you. Sure, let me give you my number.
I mean, oh, these poor people answer. I mean,
okay. 646. Do you have any idea about the process aside from just emailing him directly? Or is there a clerk's office or something like that? I mean, we have the clerk's office, of course, here in the county. I'm not sure what records, if any, they would be able to provide. Like a clerk of court? Right. Yeah. I mean, our county clerk is, of course, the clerk of courts for both Superior and Circuit Court. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what information she would be able to provide or what she would need. Unfortunately, I can't answer that. I can't give legal advice either. I don't. Oh no. No, just public. I'm just looking through Indiana public records information. So I was just trying to sort out where to go. As you know, it's sprawling. So I'm just trying to find my way through here. Sure. Yeah. So if you could let him know, I'm just looking for a follow-up on that. That would be great.
That'd be great.
Okay. I can pass the message along to him. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
And I'm sure that message went right into the garbage can next to the Reese Davis letters and the Keegan Klein notes. So that was just going direct to Carroll County. Now, at the same time, I was doing, emailing with the Office of the Inspector General, because at that point I had already, had grave concerns over some of the ISP officers, Holman. And so I started looking into some of that by reaching out to the previous administration. So, in 2025, a new governor took over in Indiana, and therefore the administration shifted. I had, oh, hello. Hang on 1 minute, please. Come here. Oh, where are you going to? What? Huh? You want to come here? Nope. Yes, come here. Come here and say hello. Come here. Hey. Damn it. So I had started sending emails to all and sundry. And so when the administration shifted in 2025, I lost I had this open channel of communication with the Inspector General's office. And then all of a sudden it went to a crisis PR firm. And I think I've mentioned this before. Let me see if I can find that. And I did do a video and I put it back up yesterday. New defense filing. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. I have so many documents that I've entitled Can't and Nope. It's not. I have to think of a better system than Can't and nope. New reference filing. Oh, this is Luigi. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Bitch. Professional. Here we go. Oh, I remember now. Okay. So this was, let me see if I can bring this up. I'll share my screen. So I remember what it was now. Was going through when Mr. Allen was at the DOC and had been transferred or something like that. And people weren't able to access him after his sentencing. And so I think now that I'm kind of going back through this, is that my concerns were with the IDOC and ISP. So I sent an email. So just so everybody knows, the Indiana, and there's links in the description, the Indiana Office of the Inspector General has oversight, meaning has statutory right to review the AG's office, so the Office of the Attorney General, and the Indiana State Police. Now, Indiana State Police has internal affairs. But right? So I just kind of went around that because I'm not filing a report. I'm reaching out to the people that are ultimately where the buck stops to ask them, hey, what the hell's going on with this situation? So let me show you. I'm trying to see if this has the dates on it. I believe it do. Yeah. Okay. So, alrighty. Let's see where this all starts. Right. So this I just printed out from the emails. So all of these emails here are public people. Did he respond to me? All right. So this is my outgoing email. And so Mr. Cook, he was, I believe his first name's David Cook. He was at the Office of the Inspector General under the 2024 administration. And he was very helpful with getting me information, or not even getting me information, having an actual grown-up ass conversation about, hey, what the hell is going on here? How do I do this, that, and the other thing? Thanks so much, XOXO Andy. So we had this pretty decent rapport going. Let me just look up. I'm trying to actually pull up here we go. That's the original. Sorry. Okay. Alrighty. So let me share this first. Let me put that away. So it's beyond me. There's some small departments that allow on. Yep. Yeah. So fun story about this situation is I wrote about, and I think I've mentioned this before, it was a terrible murder in southern Iowa that was committed by two teenagers who bludgeoned their Spanish teacher to death. And it was a terrible case. I mean, it was horrible. So, but it was also incredibly, it was also televised. So I was watching the court proceedings, and they weren't they were plea bargains, but they have these things called Miller hearings. And Miller hearings are, anyway, long story short is that because they were juveniles, they didn't need to go through the trial per se because they made plea agreements, but they did have to go through the Miller procedure, which was established for juveniles. Yes, exactly. You know this story, right? So I covered that. I had a good rapport with the actual state prosecutor in that case, who also happened to be the guy that was arguing the post-conviction relief in the Mullis case, not Captain 12 Head, but the other guy. And he was very forthcoming, very open with information. And I got on the horn with the county clerk in Jefferson County and was like, hey, now that this is done with, can I just get the exhibits from blah, blah, blah? She's like, you bet, no problem. Send it to me. I've got everything. I've got crime scene photos. I've got the transcripts from the police interviews. And she just sent them over for nothing. And that's in Iowa, small town, Iowa, Fairfield. So, yeah, back to Keith's point that a lot of these places, this is not an issue. This is not an issue. It's really not. However, in the Bermuda Triangle slash Bennington Triangle slash Bigfoot Triangle slash Delphi, Indiana situation, it's ludicrous that these aren't publicly available. It's stupid. And it ain't right. So hopefully nothing like Delphi blows up in Ohio because the courts are airtight. Meaning what? They don't share information? I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I do, I think too that I think is there a fear generally in calling these places? Do you think people don't feel like, but do you get them? God bless our federalist system, right? Because there's some places, even like Iowa courts online or Minnesota courts online, or even New York. I can go on clickety clack, and I can download all the information from, let's say, our felonious commander in chief's years long trial, and all of the filings are there. All of the erroneous, weird ass filings are there. But do we think it's Jody or do we think that it's Gull? Because the thing is that, again, what I have found, you know what? That's a lie. I was going to say I found this in Iowa, but man, I got to tell you, I get decent response from folks in Iowa. I do think that there is, a cultivated sense of fear of transparency with the public because of the orange shit gibbon in chief having just sort of obliterated the idea of actual transparency. So I think there are people that can be very sensitive about that. But the thing is that they don't get to be sensitive about it. I'm sorry, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. You're on the public dime. Uh-huh. Yeah. So you're going to answer our questions. And oh, by the way, you're not going to keep denying our sweet, sweet, precious all eyes for information. Click. Mm-mm. I swear to God, Transparency. So hang on. What was I doing? I'm going back through to find my response from, here we go. David Cook, Victoria Moon, bloop, bloop, bloop. So this is funny too. Okay. Found it. I have other audio as well. Mostly me just swearing at answering machines, but you know. Okay. Ayo. All right. Do you see this? All right. So let's see. What date is this? Oh, that's right. This is when Holman had started giving like hidden true crime and all these. Oh, right. So again, welcome to the way my brain works. This is how this is how my brain works. Y'all remember when Holman and the prosecution team went on their brief sort of weird, uncomfortable victory tour with Murder Sheet and Hidden True Crime in those weird, deeply weird interviews? I reached out. That was one of the other things too, I think. Because I had reached out repeatedly. Let's see where I started. Okay, so here we go. This is where we started. This could actually be, y'all, this could actually be the original email I sent. You can see that there's Jeremy Pierce, who is the ISP. He's the media guy. And so I try to go through the appropriate channels, but because I know that they're not going to give any information. You can see here, I also copied the ig.in.gov. That is in the description of this video. That's the Inspector General of the state of Indiana. And I also did the public access counselor, because they do, although their reviews and their rulings on disclosure of public information are basically toothless, they do review these access issues. So I was like, screw it. Nobody's getting back to me. I'm copying everybody. So I'll just read this. So, hi, my name is Andy Copps. I'm an investigative reporter. I'm requesting an interview with Lieutenant Holman. Now, remember, this is the Lafayette PIO, Public Information Officer, I'm reaching out to. An interview with Lieutenant Holman to follow the interview he conducted with Hidden True Crime, YouTube show about transparency and openness in the Delphi investigation. I'm sure you get many requests, and it's the holiday season, so I understand if there are delays. I don't have a particular timeline I'm working against, as I'm an independent journalist. My work has appeared in, and this is where I just list all of those washed up pieces of shit outlets that I've written for. See you next Tuesday, so-called journalist. Blah, blah, blah. Specifically, my questions are regarding, when was Mr. Allen transferred to White County? Okay. I guess I just jumped right into it. And this is like before the motion to correct error, isn't it? Or no, right around that time. Let's see. When was Mr. Allen transferred to White County? Why was Mr. Allen's letter requesting an attorney returned from the Delphi clerk of court during the early days of his arrest? Sent from White County Jail, 11-1, received Delphi courts, 11-4, returned to White County without reason for return on 11-7. Might this create an issue constitutionally for Mr. Allen's rights pre-trial? I just kind of went all in at this point, as maybe all y'all could see. Shaboobs. Boob. What's on the menu today? Hey. I am going through my phone number. I don't care. Go ahead, a-holes. I really don't. Fine. Oh, God damn it. Andy, get your phone number off there. Are you kidding me? No. Anyway, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm not really watching the, I'm not really watching the chat. So sorry, but yeah, thank you. So I went through and I just laid it all out. Just sort of kind of went for it. Where was I? Mr. Holman said to Hidden True Crime that the loss of multiple days of recordings of interviews and logs of interviews, quote, happens in every. Rereading this, I'm like, oh God, oh man. But see, I was being nice and I was being genuine. That's the thing. It's like, I was actually truly. I think this is me stunned. Mr. Holman said to Hidden True Crime, which of course is anyway, that the loss of the multiple days of recordings of interviews and logs of interviews happens in every case. Is that correct? That the days of interviews and the corresponding logs go missing from ISP investigations in every single case? If so, what are the backstops to protect citizens' rights going forward from what Mr. Holman called tech glitches? Oh my God, Mr. Holman said he and his family were threatened. Is that true? Regarding the leaks of the crime scene photo, why was Mitch Westerman's charges dropped after this egregious leak? Next question. How are the prior 6 years of crime scene leaks by the citizen searches addressed, and the leaks by Barbara McDonald's in the early days of her investigation? Mr. Holman referred to this somewhat in his HTC interview. What is the ISP protocol for interviews of this nature? I am not interested in any kind of video interview, just a recorded interview for transcription purposes. I'd like to follow up on the leaked crime scene photos and dismissal of charges of Mr. Westerman. I've reached out and requested an interview with Mr. McCleland about this issue as well. I look forward to hearing back from you. So that was actually the voicemail that I played. But the thing is, like, seriously though, these are legitimate questions. I'm kind of laughing about it now, knowing what we know about, oh, I was a sweet babe in the woods. I mean, I knew what I was doing because I'm not a moron, but at the very same time, I am giving these people the benefit of the doubt. The PIO at the Lafayette Police, Indiana State Police, I don't know him. Maybe he's got I don't know how his day is going. So I'm nice. But I'm also like, hey, by the way, is it true that all of these things go missing in every case? Because if it is, you got yourself a Proctor level problem, folks. I think you smell what I'm stepping in. If you well and truly misplace, or, as Holman told Hidden True Crime, it happens in every case. You got yourself a problem. Unless you don't give people access to records or justice, then it's like meh. So anyway, my point is that I hauled off and told you that I copied everybody under the sun. And again, you guys need to trust and believe that it's okay to call these people. It's okay to contact these people and you can be respectful or not. I don't give a shit. I would not advocate for being a jerk because nothing gets done. Now, there are times and places for that, but in approaching these different avenues to get at, say, the transcripts, Jody is a roadblock. Who cares? Go further up in the food chain, and you know what? It might not be the Indiana Office of the Inspector General. Who cares? Who cares if that's not the right place? But copy them, copy them, and just say, hey, CC. Because the thing is that these people need to know that they are public employees funded with taxpayer funds. Indiana taxpayers are paying for this. And you are going to be held to account. And it's okay. Just, hit that like redial button, whatever you got to do. Just come on and let it out, right? So this is how I choose to do it. Because the thing is, I know how this shit works. It's like you got to keep going up the chain. I did get a response back. And so this is, again, from the previous administration. And it was a guy named David Cook. Is Osbrook here? Do you know David Cook? Anybody? Osbrook? You? Anyway, this guy responded to me. And this was great. And his response is beautiful. Mr. Kopsa, look, I get Mr. Kopsa a lot. People bitch about pronouns. I respectfully ask you to go fuck yourselves. Know of him. Okay. He seemed like a decent dude. Mr. Kopsa, I get it all the time. It's probably because of my huge balls. Okay, Office of the Indiana Inspector General has received and reviewed the email message attached below. The OIG was not involved in the prosecution or defense of the Allen trial. The OIG has jurisdiction limited by statute to investigating and prosecuting fraud. Does everybody have their pen? Fraud, waste, abuse, criminal wrongdoing, and violation of the Indiana Code of Ethics and executive branch agencies by the current or former state employees. Doug Carter. Sometimes it's nice to go back and read this stuff. While we do have jurisdiction over the ISP, we are not involved in internal decisions relating to whether officers should or should not grant interviews. Those decisions rest solely within the executive administration of the ISP. Since you included the state ethics director, Reagan Paradin, in your email, we wanted to respond to make sure you understood the OIG was not involved in any way in the Allen trial. No, I knew that. But I copied you instead because you're going to respond because you're going to say, holy crap, we're not involved in this. So, Mr. Kopsa, right? So I responded because it's this was, and I truly legitimately appreciated this. Hello, Mr. Cook. Thank you for response and apologies, as that was my mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Just, guys, it wasn't a mistake. While I have you, however, who, if anyone, at the ISP would be able to request review of the issues surrounding the ISP and other state law enforcement officials for holding Mr. Allen with initial retained counsel, moving him without benefit of that retained counsel, or even presence in court at a hearing for safekeeping on or around 1026 to 1028 2022. An initial hearing isn't necessary as a so-called critical hearing. A safekeeping or bail hearing is a critical hearing, which could lead to, as you are well aware, immediate reversal. Is that accurate? While it may involve a county court, it also involves ISP and the, quote, central command, who interrogated, arrested, and then failed to properly ensure the fundamental constitutional and structural procedural rights afforded to pretrial detainees in the United States of America, question mark. Who would be able to answer those incredibly pressing questions? While Mr. Allen has been convicted through the adjudication of a trial, there are questions of structural error that may exist, which, of course, wouldn't be justice to Abigail, and I mixed up their names, Abby and Libby, or to Mr. Allen for that matter. Please advise. Also, I'm a Ms., as in Miss Kopsa. I get it all the time. So thanks again. XOXO Andy. Then, so let me take that down. Thoughts, questions? Thoughts? So what have we learned? We've learned that we go above and beyond the people that we're actually trying to get in touch with. We go above their heads, right? In situations like this, go to the next level. Copy superiors. because in my experience, they will respond. Or they will at least chitter chatter between themselves that, holy cow, we've got people digging into this. And guess what? It's your job. I mean, it's your job. Also, by the way, people of Indiana, you bought and paid for Judge Gull's private counsel in the original action. So, in addition to her salary. And the thing is, this isn't being a fucking dick. This isn't coming for private citizens. That's a different thing. These people are public figures on a public dime. And I think that for me, I show everybody respect up and until they've lost it. And I don't have a problem being a jerk to people who are obfuscating and lying. And thus far, I can't find anybody, at least in the Indiana case, that hasn't, aside from maybe one of the first people to answer the phone in Carroll County that works in the office, it's anybody that's being transparent and open. Oh, yay! Hello, yay! We're discussing how to hold your people accountable. So, as you can see, this led to a dialogue. So when I reached out to the PIO in the Lafayette Barracks or whatever they call themselves to get an interview with Holman, I made sure to copy both the ATG. Oh, ATG. Interesting. Now, I did not. Oh, did he copy those people? Interesting. So let me see if I can't find. Sorry, I'm looking at. So let me see if I can find his response, because I did say, throw it back out there. And, oftentimes if people mistake me for a dude and I correct them politely, oh, I'm miss, they feel obligated. At least the dudes do, because dudes, they're just so stupid. They feel like, oh, I better give this little lady a call back or an email back. Use it or lose it, ladies. It's my big brain. So let me see what David said. Okay. Here we go. Let me see if I can put this up. So this is his response. So keep in mind, again, so this is going back to the previous administration in 2024 in Indiana. Okay. Okay. So I'll try to keep my. All right. Can everybody see that? So this is then the response. So you see down here, the Mr. Cop said blah, blah, blah. Then I responded, also, I'm a Ms. I get all the time. Don't worry about it. Okay. So then after the new year, so that was on, let's see, January 1st. Interesting. Okay. So his first contact with me was on the 31st of 12/31/2024. I responded, then he responded to me. Then on the second day of the new year, Ms. Copsa. See how that works? Ms. Copsa. You're welcome, America. Whoops, what the hell? Damn it. What happened? Why is that on the screen? Sorry, y'all. Neurospice. Ms. Copsa. While the OIG is fully accredited law enforcement agency with 5 staff attorneys, we do not give legal advice. The questions you pose most certainly are subjects that will be reviewed on appeal if properly raised. In my earlier email, I gave you the contact information for the Indiana State Police. Okay. The newly appointed superintendent is Anthony Scott. We do not have contact information for him. We hope this helps in your inquiries. My apologies for the error in your name. Right? Thank you very much. Have a great new year. So, okay, great. That sounds great, right? So I've opened this channel. I'd open this channel of communication with the IG's office because they do ultimately, I mean, while he's encouraging me to go back to the ISP, what I had said was like, I kind of went down that road and now we're in some sketchball territory. And so I was able to just have this nice little go back and forth with him to, yes, they do have ultimate, they can, they're a fully accredited law enforcement agency. And that to me was one of the key takeaways, because then when I went back to the well here and started learning more about the swatting and the true fuckery, when I started going through motion to correct error, motion to strike, all this other stuff that started really coming to the surface, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't just a bunch of doofuses on the ISP being, doing dry tugs all day long, right? This is nefarious AF. And so I had this relationship that had sort of been established tangentially, and that's kind of what you do as a journalist. You develop these relationships with people that can get you information. So I'm like, all right, well, after I found out about El Swatterino, I was like, I'm going to reach back out. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we'll keep Nick McCleland. Oh, wait, did we have one more contact? Stand by. Oh, what is this? One moment, please. So I was able to go back and then reach back out to this gentleman at the Indiana Office of the Inspector General, because I had that, what I thought was a nice exchange with him. And it goes further. Let me see. Indiana. One moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Questions, comments? Who is this? Oh. Sorry, that was a bug. I got a bunch of follow-up requests for interviews. So I reached back out to, let me pull this up. Okay. So this was, again, so that was January 2nd and 3rd, that last email that I sent to Mr. Cook at the OIG, copying everybody who isn't nailed down. So then I went back to, because again, I'm working on several different agencies at this point. So I'm working on the ISP level and not getting any response. I'm working at the Nick McCleland level and not getting any response from Carroll County. And I'm working at the state oversight level. So I'm trying to keep all of these things kind of parallel pathed. So around this same time, so this like first week or two of January 2025 is when all of this is starting to kind of coalesce. So I'm reaching back out then. Let me add this. It is. So this is me reaching out to Nick McCleland. And I think, at the very beginning, you'd have to go back and listen to it, but I followed up. So sent emails, so I have a record. Left voicemails, or talked with people, have the audio recording, keeping a record. All of these things are public information because they're communications made with a public official. So theoretically, you could ask for any and all contact between a journalist and, or any and all email, depending on local rules and local FOIA requests. You can get into some of the email situation. I think it's different with McCleland, maybe because he doesn't use a government email. I mean, what does he use? Does he have like an AOL account? Uh, you know, uh, does he just write stuff on his MySpace diary or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, so that response from the OIG was on the 2nd of January 2025. I sent this to McCleland on the 6th of January. Okay. Request for interview/comment. Hello, Mr. McCleland. I called last week and left a message with some questions regarding the recent conviction of Richard Allen. I understand it has been the holidays, so I wanted to follow up with you. I'd originally asked about Mitchell Westerman and the decision to dismiss charge. Because see, to me, something didn't smell right? Everybody was losing their mind over leaked crime scene photos when Murder Sheet had been leaking all sorts of shit since the Ron Logan days. Something didn't make sense there, right? Why did they dismiss the charges against him? That was one of my many questions. I don't care. Whatever. I'd originally asked about Mitchell Westerman and the decision to dismiss the charges. Since then, however, I've been rereading some of the documents, those available from the first days of Mr. Allen's arrest. I want to make sure I have the initial timeline correct, so please correct me if I am wrong. Going off the most recent chronology in the court website, Mr. Allen was arrested on October 26th. His first appearance in court was on October 28th. You secured probable cause on October 27th. I don't think that was right. I don't think that's what I meant. I think I meant the initial hearing. Was there a hearing? Was Mr. Allen's attorney, who contacted via email both your office and the court, aware of that probable cause filing? Did he waive his appearance per Rule 59? I don't know where I got that from. If so, wouldn't that waiver necessarily be in a list of documents and filings? Now, I need to note here that I didn't know Osbrook then, so I was looking up crazy shit and pulling it out my ass. So I don't know what Rule 59 is, but, whatever. So I was asking him if he waived. Does anybody know what that is? Crankaroos? Do you guys know what that is? What the hell is waiving an appearance on Rule 59? Where's Crankosaurus Rex? Anyone know what that is? So maybe Rule 59. Okay. In the motion to move Mr. Allen for, quote, safekeeping occurred on November 3rd by you and Judge Diener. Mr. Allen made clear he had retained counsel. Adversarial proceedings have begun. Indiana 7th Circuit. What am I doing? Why am I quoting all this weird law? Okay. 7th Circuit SCOTUS all recognized intent, retainer, and indicated in 2 separate filings by Diener. Allen invoked the right to his representation. If this is ignored by the state, is that not fatal error? Regarding safekeeping, Mr. Allen was no longer in Carroll County. Mr. Allen was in White County. Those italics, I'm screaming. That's me screaming in italics. Mr. Allen wasn't made available for the safekeeping hearing. Given the gravity of the charges and per court filings and of interrogation of Mr. Allen where Holman threatened the death penalty. Do you guys remember that? Hot crap, I forgot about that. Let's see. No shaboobs. This is N. McCleland at carrollcountyprosecutor.com. Y'all, what? Okay. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'm crazy neurospicy today and I don't give a shit. Okay. Regarding safekeeping. So again, this is on January 6th, 2025. Mr. Allen wasn't made available for the safekeeping hearing, given the gravity of the charges, blah, blah, blah. Was he or chosen public appointed defendant counsel at a safekeeping hearing? If so, where is that filing? Can any of this be corrected via motion to preserve error, motion to correct error, or transcription? If there are supporting documents that Allen's right to a Sixth Amendment protections and due process were preserved. Oh, regarding the tort claim, AG motion to quash and DOC subpoenas. Okay, so this is another thing. I mean, it probably doesn't. I was just spitting weird shit, right? Let's see. Actually, let's see what that's in regards to. Is it local rules? Did he waive appearance? So it's in regard to waiving an appearance. Sorry, I keep calling you shaboobs because of what it's Sleuthy's fault. Um, I mean, maybe I just made that up. I say shaboobs because I love. Let's see. Rule 59, Indiana waive. Okay. Okay. So Rule 59, so issues that could have been raised in a motion to correct error, exceptions, filing time limits. Okay. I mean, if only we had a habeas corpus in the crowd. Whatever. Okay. Back to this. Safekeeping. So this gets at sort of the jurisdictional was and the fact that he wasn't where everybody said he was. Was he or was, I think I meant was his chosen or publicly appointed defense counsel at a safekeeping hearing? If so, where is the filing? I mean, we know by now there hasn't been one, right? So can any of this be corrected? Motion to correct error, blue, blah, bloob. And so then the tort claim. Now, this is the civil part. And I think some of you know that that Mr. Rosie filed a sort of placeholder. And again, if only I knew an Indiana sea mammal. Oh, God damn it. Okay, Osbrook. One moment. Please stand by. Oh, it's hot. It's really hot here today. Hang on. Let me get a link for this porpoise. Actually, you know what? Wait a minute. Hang on. Let me get through some of this because I need to plow through the rest of this a little bit and then we'll do it. Okay. Mr. Allen, okay. Tort claim. Okay. Actually, yes. You know what? I will allow it. Where are you? One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. I will allow it. Everybody alert all the internet trolls that we're going to have a porpoise. Just kidding. What do I care? Let's see. Here we go. Viola. Okay, there it is. So tort claim is what we need to talk about next. My cat just sneezed. Are you okay? Oh my God. All right, hang on a second. I can't. Does that show up backwards? Ugh, there it is. Okay. Heyo.
How can I be of service?
All right, hang on a second. Um, so you can be of service. Let's talk about. So I'm sure you were hanging on every word of my previous nonsense. But
With my prehensile tail.
right, well, you don't have a prehensile tail. You're a goddamn sea mammal. Um, but I have that useless tailbone. Um, but so I, in my list of questions to McCleland here, I threw in just for good measure the tort claim that was the um so and I think there might, and I'm just trying to see what I said to him because I said some, let's see. I said, does the assistant AG know? So there was a tort claim, AG motion to quash, and DOC subpoenas. Does this sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I didn't follow the tort claim stuff, and the tort claim thing's not a placeholder. It
Okay.
is the prerequisite to sue in state court.
In state court. And that was
The
for the
idea, the idea behind it is, and I think it's kind of crazy, but the idea behind it is that you have to give the state notice that you're going to sue them so that the AG can look into it and maybe there doesn't have to be a lawsuit.
I see. I see. So that gives them a heads up, time to shred everything. And the
Yeah,
AG,
exactly.
this is your notice to shred. It's your
Yeah.
notice to shred, everybody. Get that big old shredding service going. Um, okay. So that has nothing to do with, because I think there, and I threw it in here on McCleland just to sort of bury him in questions. Also so I could copy everybody who isn't nailed down. But I think that, I'm not even going to talk about the civil case. So this has nothing to do with that,
What
right?
does the tort
Or
claim?
the tort claim is a state level thing.
Well, I mean, you can, even with federal claims, you can sue in state court, but to sue in state
Okay, you say
court,
that like I should know that.
yeah, and normally if you sue with federal claims in state court, the state's going to remove you to federal court. So if you have a case that presents a federal question,
Mm,
um,
okay.
there's you can just automatically get it moved to fed court.
Okay. All right. Um, so that kind of, and that was when it was against the DOC.
Yeah, but there are state claims. I mean, there's intentional infliction of emotional distress. There's
Right.
battery.
Right.
Um, there are probably some others. Uh,
Right.
but there's the fundamental due process claim under.
What? No. Sorry.
Well, let me put it this way. Your surprise is not unfounded. Nobody seems to be, as much as I've tried to get something filed for somebody, nobody seems interested. So maybe I'm just making it up.
You are. It's nuts. I've never heard of such a thing. Um, so it's going through all of this stuff that I reached out to McCleland and the previous uh inspector general's office, and I know that and again, I'm sure as you were wrapped and every word I mentioned that I copied everybody because I knew, including from the state level to the ISP level to the county level, on all of these initial on all of my initial reporting attempts, I copied everybody on it after I got met with a wall of silence because of the nature of just how the opacity of this case, right? So the good thing that came out of that was the previous administration's OIG, this David Cook, at least had a dialogue with me a little bit, a little back and forth, right? So what I found interesting next, though, let me take this down for a minute. So needless to say, I didn't get a response from Nick McCleland. I did follow up, with a phone call, all this other stuff. To McCleland's office, and I played that earlier, and whatever, that was a lost cause. But then I circled back after I became aware of all of the issues about with the shit going on with oh, and here's a records request. Stand by one moment. Where is it? Okay, so I then reached back out to in February, at the end of February, to the again, and I'll put this up one moment. And this is when I became aware of the filing, or the request for mutual aid Holman made from Indiana to New York, to have the quote welfare check done. And so that's when I reached back out, including the OIG, because all right, so let me bring it back there, because so this is on 2/28/2025. So I'm reaching back out, still thinking, as you can see here, I've got David Cook in here because I've established this sort of back and forth relationship, at least till, he might actually respond to me. So I copy him, not realizing that the new administration had replaced him, which is normal. A new administration comes in and they just clean house and install their own people. But I had copied him on this. And so when I reached back out to the ISP, the POI, this Pierce, who is the public information officer of the Lafayette outpost, I was very specific and said, just letting them know what I was looking for, that I'm an investigative reporter, have been in touch several times requesting comment. I'm writing about an ISP report filed by ISP Trooper A. Smith on 2/21/2024, which led to a Dutchess County, New York investigation into an unfounded, quote, threat against several law enforcement officers. Now I put in the ISP report number. Holman was, it was called in by Holman. It was found to be a false report, investigated by an investigation in New York. Holman allegedly, along with Nick McCleland, a woman named, quote, Christina Mack, and Sue Wright, and two podcasters, I mean, we know who that is, Kevin and Anya, filed a false report, allegedly, right? So allegedly, and this is after I've talked to Dutchess County, bear in mind, pinged a cell phone without a follow-up warrant, used a drone without the appropriate clearance to follow it, and subsequently calling a mutual aid from the law enforcement in Dutchess County, New York. Additionally, ISP Intelligence Unit was reportedly enlisted by Holman and Smith and others to pull, quote, data on a private citizen in New York State. I'm currently in touch with Dutchess County Sheriff's Office and have a request for information from the FAA. That's for the drone. If it's a law enforcement drone, which, by the way, I think was unfounded. I think that was just totally unfounded. That's a side note. About authorization prior to this false report being called in by ISP via Holman and others. Please respond to this request for comment. I'm copying the OIG because I would like to know what the implications, liabilities regarding time, taxpayer dollars, and potential civil suits, etc., Holman and others might have an investigation into misspent monies of ISP, blah, 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 and the billable hours possibly from Dutchess County for the, quote, swatting call. So I copied the OIG on this because, again, they are a law enforcement agency, correct, Michael?
I don't know whether it's law enforcement or not. I don't think so.
What help? He told me it was. They can oversee and run investigations into the ISP.
They can investigate the investigators, but I don't know that they have arrest power. I mean, I just don't know whether they're, there's a statute that defines law enforcement officer because right, resisting law enforcement is a crime. So you have to have a definition of law enforcement. So I mean,
I think they're administratively, right? So it's an administrative.
Yeah, I mean they're law enforcement in a broad sense. I'm just saying that I don't think they're law enforcement in the sense that
No, but they can make findings.
Oh yeah, and they can report people. Yeah, and
Yeah. In that sense.
And I just want to say that any day that Jerry Holman's looking into my welfare, I feel a whole lot safer.
Who doesn't? I mean, who among us, right? PTL. Okay, so I sent this to the IG because, again, I thought I had opened a dialogue. Well, lo and behold, the new administration brought in an outside PR firm. And I have never seen this in all my days in dealing with public agencies, unless they're crisis PR. And so I get this response back. It says, Andy, I hope you're doing well. We represent the Indiana Office of the Inspector General's Media Relations line and received your email. Please find directly below the official response from the IG's office to your inquiry. The IG has a longstanding policy that whether the IG is investigating a matter or not, the IG does not publicly acknowledge such, nor does the IG disclose any investigative activity. If you need attribution, please attribute to, quote, officials at the Indiana Office of the Inspector General, end quote. Thank you again for your inquiry. Senior Issues Management and Public blah, 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 McFarland PR and Public Affairs. So I was like, well, that's weird. That was weird. Why do they have a crisis PR firm? And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Don't you all have an AG that's under investigation right now?
Well, but the OIG and the AG are totally separate animals.
I understand, but there's still, but still, is if we look at that broad definition that we just laid out about the power of the Office of the Inspector General to investigate ethics and potential violations, etc. They're two. They have the ability and I think statutorily to investigate the AG's office and the ISP.
So the AG is under investigation. I mean, maybe there are other things, but the AG. So Rakita.
Yep.
Has ethics problems with the Indiana Supreme Court and the Disciplinary Commission.
Right.
That's not the OIG.
Right.
I mean, the OIG would only be investigating in the AG's office. The only thing they'd be investigating is, some financial mismanagement or something like that. I mean, the OIG doesn't have anything to do with what's at least publicly known going on with Rakita.
Right. So I'm doing some speculating. So this is speculation on my part. So in March, when I got this response from the PR firm, which again, I've talked to, I've not had this happen where I've been referred to a PR firm for a public entity ever. And that, again, that only typically happens when there is crisis management. Now, it could be, there's two things here that could be going on. They could have just outsourced it, period, full stop, and just outsourced it to a PR firm because it is the media relations arm. But just 2 months before, I was having email conversations with the actual dude at the OIG's office. So after the new administration came in, so comes in a PR firm. And so my speculation, based on nothing but just doing this work for 100 years for shitty, terrible outlets, is that that's fishy as hell. It's fishy, number one, because why are they paying an outside firm with taxpayer dollars to do a civil servant's job? Number two, why in the hell do you have a PR firm? So, but overall, I think it's only significant in the arc of the Delphi narrative story, in that, of course, there's a crisis PR firm now working. And I keep saying crisis. That's my word. There's a PR firm that's been engaged by the OIG, and not 2 months before, I was having an open dialogue with the actual inspector general, so that was a very, very sharp turn, based on just a few months of my interactions with this crew. So that was noteworthy to me. And so, I just followed up with her and just said, hey, wanted to reach back out to you, meant to when I got your response. In my years covering state, local, and federal officials, the only time I've been routed to a PR firm is for crisis comms. This is a contract position with the OIG ? And is there any reason I can't get a response? Well, I recognize the language is a non-answer, and I do appreciate the answer all the same. The IG does, in fact, have ultimate oversight over waste, fraud, and government, including ISP and the AG, correct? ? Anyway, so, and I don't remember if I got anything back from her or not, but that's sort of where my odyssey with the OIG ended. And I think that bringing it back to where I started this whole shit show is that it is okay for people to contact their public officials, and I think that's why I got to where I am with talking about the OIG and contacting ISP and contacting Nick McCleland, because people do feel, and rightfully so, completely blocked out of anything having to do with, in this case, in the Richard Allen case, and getting any sort of public transparency or accountabilities. It's not just, this is not just an Indiana issue, but it's one of the worst I've seen, and that is saying something, given, I've pursued the, Department of Health and Human Services PEPFAR division till the ends of the earth, to get FOIA requests answered. So it's really saying something when, getting this much bullshit from about this one trial and the issues that brings up for transparency, for journalism, for, again, rule of law, shit like that. So, so this has not been my experience, Jay Rabbit. It's not normal in my experience. PR lines of communication. So let me make sure I clarify. They have PR people, but they're civil servants, right? This is an outside PR firm. So that's two different things. So maybe I clarified that for you. So there's, media, much like the public information officer at the Indiana State Police. That person is a trooper, but is assigned to be the public information officer. So when I say I've never been shunted off to a crisis PR firm or a PR firm. What I mean is, when I contact the Office of the Inspector General's media outreach, typically that will be a position that is a state, a civil servant, civil employees. Okay. Yeah, I know. And I think we're saying the same thing here. You know, I think we're saying the same thing. What I'm saying is that it's an outside agency, period. It's a contracted outside private entity working for the government. And that is something that is not done. It's usually an internal comms person. Anyway, so okay. Mr. Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, I'm sorry. I don't think we're understanding one another, but I do appreciate you being here. It's not normal. But anyway, there are media people that should be contacted and can be contacted. And just because there are in this one instance, you know, I think that people need to know that it's okay to contact these people, and that it is, in fact, you're right to contact these people and say, hey, what's up here? So, that's kind of where I started with this, and whatever. I don't know. I just am confounded. I'm not confounded. Nothing shocks me. I just continue to sort of have this long exhale over the state, the utter lack of transparency. So I don't know, man. I don't know if anything is going to happen. I know All Eyes got her request denied for exhibits. Jody sent back her money order. So I don't know. I don't know if T's had any success with hers. I don't know, man. I don't know anything about it yet. I think it's good. I think it's long overdue. Right? I mean, yeah, all for it. Was somebody, I don't know. I haven't been out here in the YouTubes every once in a while, but yeah. Thoughts, Osbrook?
Thoughts about what?
I don't know, man. The state of affairs with getting access to the trial transcripts, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, in the best of all possible worlds, the appellate lawyers would make them and the exhibits public, but I don't expect that's going to happen.
But I guess so. Let's step back 1 second here, though. These are, in fact, public documents.
They are, in fact, public documents, and it would be nice if a media company. It would be nice if a media company with money for lawyers would actually sue to get it all. But
it's interesting because back when the PCA was being, hidden, essentially, I can't remember who it was, but a consortium of Indiana news outlets got together and did have an attorney file basically a suit saying, hey, you need to open that. That was ultimately successful. And so I guess I don't know if people in Indiana or people, media outlets in Indiana are just content to kind of move on from this. Maybe. I don't get it, because I think maybe people just aren't, I don't know, maybe people aren't interested in Indiana anymore, ? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, there has been more post-conviction attention so far publicly to Rick's case than any I can recall in the near future. But, you've starved the world for information, and it's gonna slowly drift out of people's attention.
Well, but the thing is that I think you have to qualify that though, right? Because it's not, I mean, are you seeing in Indiana your local news outlets continuing to follow up on this story? Or are you talking about the cranks?
Oh, I'm talking about, social media. It's not a story in any public media that and any mainstream media that I know about. I don't watch the TV. I don't watch TV, so I don't know about them. I'm sure somebody would have said something if there'd been a story. Uh, I mean, look at the mainstream media. I mean, you know, look at the reporting, Andrea, Bob, and Lee did compared to the reporting that, the friggin' mainstream media did
I
of
know.
the trial.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious is, of course, the really bad operations get special treatment by Gull, because they're credentialed media, whatever the hell that means.
Can we
Um,
explain for people? Can we take a second and explain for people that journalists do not have any special rights above the public? Do
uh,
people understand that?
uh,
That's a made up thing. That's not real.
well,
Unless your state has a shield law in place.
right. So yeah, I mean, they have some special privileges, some places, but it's not special privileges about access. It's about special privileges, being badgered. Um,
For being badgered? What do you mean?
by people who want your sources, by law enforcement, and others.
Oh,
There's
sure, sure, sure.
the shield laws.
Oh, are we
Um,
going to go down the Brandenburg v. Hayes?
no, we're not.
Damn it! No,
No, and somebody in the chat said something. Are we going to do anything with the "It's a New Day" post? And I just went and looked at it, and it's hilarious. It,
I
it
have
is
no
so
idea what that is. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't know
it is
what it
so
is.
it is
No,
so
no, I don't.
stupid.
I seriously do not want to know. Honestly,
I'm not gonna go into the details. I'm just saying
I
it
don't
is
know.
it is so stupid, and
Okay,
and and the, and the
okay,
comments are so stupid that
okay. Great,
have
great. I have no
no
idea what
idea.
this is. No, no, no,
Have,
no.
have no idea.
Okay, but
Um,
I need to bring it back to talking about the fact that
well,
everybody
but
has the
that's
same
covered.
right of access, right?
Yeah, you mean to public records?
Yes, all of it.
Yeah, to public records. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a public record. I'm not an access to public
No, no.
records law. I'm not an APRA wizard. I know there are procedures for going and getting them, and all I can say is, people go look up statutes, and I'm too deep into phone records and a few other things. Teresa's going to get the transcript. I doubt she's going to get the exhibits along with it.
Well, I just said All Eyes got her request denied, and uh, what do you call it? Her money order sent back. So is
Yeah,
there?
and I don't understand that. They say we're going to do this, and then somebody does it, and then there were the people who didn't get their money back, and made specific requests for the bridge guy video exhibit, and I mean both versions.
Mhm.
and they didn't get those. I mean, they were 128 gigabyte hard drives, thumb drives that were going to be sent out.
Who
I,
has thumb drives anymore? Okay, that's a side note, but okay.
oh, yeah, thumb drives are a thing. I mean,
All
they're.
right.
I mean, that's how the exhibit and the motion to correct error. So the van video was filed with the court on a thumb drive,
Right.
which was hilarious because McCleland is, of course, accusing Andy, Brad, and Jennifer of not having filed the motion to correct it.
All right. It was on your YouTube site. I know. It was on your highly successful YouTube channel.
Hey, if anybody's got more subscribers than I with no content, I want to. We need to meet up.
Okay, I need to bring something up that's probably going to get me kicked out of the crank universe, but I need to address this about free Karen Reed people and about Turtle Boy. If I mean, listen, I think that folks need to be prepared for all the bad that can come with this kind of attention from Mr. Carney. And I think that people need to, well, people don't need to do shit. My thing is that Osbrook, like you and I were talking the other day about being able to look at similarities of legal cases and the right to due process. If we look at an immigration case and that person must be afforded due process rights, whether a citizen or not, we have to accept that that is the fact of the matter in the United States of America, if we also believe that people like Mr. Allen and Karen Reed have the same rights. So we have to find some commonality here across, and we also have to embrace the fact that even if you're a shitty, horrible person, you have the right to due process. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I think that what Aidan Carney has done for the case of Karen Reed from a macro perspective is a good thing in the end. But I also think he's deeply problematic. I have a real problem with couching his case as a sort of putting a stake in the ground for journalism, because that's not what this is. And I think that that's okay to talk about. I think that there are some things that absolutely, was he made a target for certain things because he was covering Karen Reed? Probably. Did he do some shit that I would never do? Absolutely. It may shake out that he is guilty of some of the things he's being charged with. I don't know. But I think that for me, the way that Delphi has gone, my only concern, and again, I have not been here as long as everybody has. I just haven't. And so I think that from my perspective, I'm not welcoming of that as a because I think that I have so many feels about it because I am a journalist, and anybody can be a journalist, and I absolutely believe that. But I do think that there's a danger to me in my profession, or I'm retired now, as everybody apparently knows, that I think there's a danger to aligning a First Amendment free press argument to what is now happening in the courts with Turtle Boy. I just do. I think that that's a dangerous idea. Now, because I think it has to do, frankly, more with a really, really terribly written state law versus anything that has to do with actual freedom of the press. And so I have a hard time with it. I have a real hard time. So, you know, uh, I don't know. Anybody?
I don't have a position. I mean, what he's what Turtle Boy's done with for the Karen Reed case was huge. Could he come in and generate that kind of energy for Rick Allen's situation? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it kind of organically grew in Karen Reed's case, and my guess is that sort of the hired gun thing, him coming in and
Yeah, and I don't even know. I mean, I think that Bob, I think um what women doing yield chaos, false memories. She had mentioned that Bob had him on the other night about, and I think he posted something. I'm not suggesting he's coming in to do anything, but I do think that I think it's important to have eyes on this. And I do think that there is a deep passion among the, free Karen Reed situation. I'm just very trepidatious about this. This is just me personally. I saw, I don't know. Nobody's going to ask him the questions that I want to ask him. But neither here nor there. I don't want anybody on my team that calls people retards. I just don't. So that's my position, and I don't think that he brings any benefit from that perspective. So maybe that's
yeah,
maybe
and look, the publicity in Karen Reed's case. I mean, there were lawyers and investigators, and incredible lawyers and investigators, um, doing the actual work.
Yeah.
And this is in Rick Allen's situation. It's a totally different situation now, and there are people out there doing the work, and I don't know. Certainly, public attention helps. I mean, the hive mind is incredible. I mean, I had a question about some phone records about what a code meant, and somebody, I put it up on Twitter, and in a couple of hours somebody was back with, oh, here's what it means.
Right. No, I think there's
And
absolutely, 100%. And I think Shabugs makes a really good point. It's easier to push for an innocent woman cop killer than an innocent man killer of two children. I think this is valid. And I think that
well,
is something that is, but I think that, that is not, you can't underestimate the visceral reaction that people are going to have. And I think that that's why I hope people see the commonalities across the actual issues.
it's even worse than that, because I mean, the comparison's even worse than that, because it was only the lynch mob in the Karen Reed case that could really rely on the cop killer thing. Whether she did it or not, she was not a cop killer, because it wasn't. It was a social. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't.
know. Yeah. Yeah. It was,
I, she,
catchy.
she was
Mhm.
she was never a cop killer.
I know. Right. But
And
go ahead.
whoever killed Libby and Abby, I mean, definitely killed two kids. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all there is to it. I mean, it's not semantics.
Yeah. Also, a lot of free Karen Reed people have been inquiring on the case. And I think that that's the hive mind part that I think is good. The biggest complaint is a deep dive shortened pod. I don't know what that means.
I mean, I will say, for wrongful convictions, I mean, the model, Bob Ruff and his podcast, Truth
Oh,
and Justice.
God damn it. I love him. Yeah.
He's terrific. He's absolutely terrific. And he's got a bunch of lists, and his audience, people in his audience have come up with stuff that have busted his cases.
Right.
Open. But it's kind of, so he's the only one doing the case. The cases are kind of old, so there's no huge community out there screaming, except that,
Oh. Okay. Well, he's gone. I don't know what happened. I mean, do you guys smell what I'm stepping in? I mean, I'm not trying to be that old bitch, but whatever. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Is POD is that pod? Or is that like premenstrual occupational disorder? Perimenopause old douche. Why can't it be perimenopause old douche? God damn it. I know. Okay. When I see it all in caps. Anyway, I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from on that. I've got high sensitivity. It's a high sensitivity area for me. But yeah, I don't know who you are. Of course I know. Jesus Christ. All right. I know it is. I'm not that old. Do you guys think that I'm actually retired? Motherfuckers. Yeah, I mean, I think that there needs to be somebody. Okay, thanks. I peed. Okay. Premenstrual old douche. That's me. But I think so, I do believe that everybody is a journalist and that people, I hope, and some people have said to me like, well, I'm not a journalist. I can't do this or that. I'm not a writer. I can't do this or that. It's like, well, you know what? The thing is that there is, and my point with talking to Osbrook about there is no special protection for journalists. There really isn't, unless there's a state shield law. So like, for example, probably why in combination with a really stupid witness intimidation law in Massachusetts, they're one of a handful of states that don't have shield laws. And so shield laws were passed sort of post, there were some cases in Supreme Court in the 70s, but there is no, when people think about freedom of the press, they think that actually that means that journalists have some sort of exemption, whatever. Traditionally, freedom of the press has meant you don't fuck around with journalists reporting on issues of public import because America, right? A healthy press is also something that is an indicator of a democracy's health. It is. And so, yeah, Osbrook doesn't need to come back. It's my cat. So I had gotten a few of those questions and people wanting me to put things back up about how I went about contacting people, and I think that is the key thing here. It's a groundswell, and it's people who are willing to put in the time. And there certainly are people that are putting in the time to get, and that's no matter what your situation is. That's no matter what power that you happen to be fighting. That that is something that everybody is entitled to do. And a lot of it is pretty easy to get at. I put a couple links in the notes. So if you want to reach out to ISP or OIG, I think that that's okay. And I think that there needs to be more of that from a sustained perspective. So not just people going for the exhibits and the transcripts, which is necessary here, but also people pushing the Office of the Inspector General, the ISP, internal investigation, all of these things, all of these questions that all the cranks have are legitimate. They just are. And so to get it and just copy everybody doesn't hurt. Shit, copy the governor's office. Who cares? Right? So that's the thing. And so that's kind of why, when I was going through all of the emails I sent back and forth, is that I copied all of these different entities to try to see who would bite and who would take an interest. And again, unfortunately, it's shifted and some of the same people aren't in the same positions, but the Office of the Inspector General absolutely, is a, broadly speaking, able to investigate the ISP. They just are, because they're not going to do an internal investigation. They're simply not. And I think that putting that on your, like, I have a daily list. It's like, take my pills, make my bed, walk the cat, send an email, right? And it's tedious as fuck. But I don't know how to harness that, except that people need to feel empowered. And if people feel like they need to have permission from somebody in a position of power to do that, they don't need it. They don't. You don't need that. At some point also early on, I shared in like, I don't know if it was All Eyes Google Drive, and this is going way back to some of the past information requests I had sent out in my previous life, because people were like, well, what do we write? How do we write it? And so there's some of that I think is still in like community folders and stuff. But other than that, I mean, I'm looking forward to whatever this perimenopause old douchebag thing that y'all are working on. I think that's great. I'm all for post-operative ding-dongs, or whatever POD can stand for. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think that in the interim, so while everybody's working their asses off to get documents and documentation and put that together, I think there can also, just attach another email to that, just attach another CC to that. It's so much. I know it is, but I think it's the only thing that's going to move the needle, if at all. Because I don't think that, and to your point, Shabugs, it is an issue that the cases, are so vastly different. And getting behind a case where 2 early teen girls were murdered is harder to do, but that doesn't make it any less necessary, right? So it might just have to be one of those things where people just can continue to hack away. I think that too, if you're in Indiana, it would be probably a good thing to start reaching out to your regional or statewide news outlet saying, hey, why hasn't anybody filed a lawsuit to get all this information yet? I don't know. So, might want to do that. But anyway, so this was a special edition of See You Next Thursday. I'm only doing semi-regular See You Next Tuesdays. But yeah, so I don't know. What else? What else can I help you with? Who knows? It's a great question, though. I haven't gotten any response from my bar complaint, but I probably wouldn't get a response. I just got a nice letter from them. Where did that go? Where's my letter? One moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I don't know where it went. Oh, here's a picture of a bug. Let's see. Anyway, it was a letter that I had gotten back from the Indiana bar something or other. What the hell is it, Osbrook? Put it in the chat. What's the name of that thing? So we went through all of that, right? At some point, we went through all of that shit. But I did get a letter back just saying, we've received your very important, damn it. Ugh. Where is it? It'd be great if I had a filing system. Yeah. So, I don't know what's going on with the book. I don't care. I think that I wasn't going to do this, but now I guess I will. Oops. Nope. By popular demand, I will post the cover of my upcoming book. Let's see, where is it? But I need somebody to help me title it, because I know that Kev and Anya's is called Shadow of the Bridge or something like that. So this is my upcoming book, but I don't know what I should call it. Can you see that? What is this? What should I call it? What's the name of Murder Shit's book? Shadow of the Bridge. Mine is going to be Shadow of the Fridge. That's me. It's my typewriter. I'm in the shadow of the fridge, exposing bullshit. Yes, shadow of fridge. It's my new book. I think it's going to be great. And all of my work here done in the shadow of the fridge was done ethically, without any complaints, except by, the regulars. All right. I don't know what else, man. But yeah, that's it. What else can I help you with? Anything? Anyone? So yeah, Shadow of the Fridge. No, Shadow of the Fridge. Look at me. Look at me sitting there. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I don't know. We did some things, not much. Shit got out of control. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, oversight. Request for oversight to his office. But since I'm not a resident in that state without affidavits, that I don't understand. Can you? Well, I don't think Rokita's office is probably the right one in this case. I think that you might be able to reach out to the Inspector General's office, if that makes sense. So, request for oversight. Do you mean a complaint against? Right. So that's why I suggested the Office of the Inspector General. Look, Office of the Inspector General, again, I think that would be, and that's the information I've kind of dropped in. Hang on. Let's see. Where's my, actually, did I have that pulled up? One moment, please. Please stand by. Awesome. And so this is something that exists in every state. I think everybody knows this, but if you want to, we can just go through it. Would that be helpful or dumb? So, boop, boop, contact us. So I suggest everybody on this list. And I, sent emails, which again, I talked about earlier. So when I copied all the folks, I copied this person, this Regan Paradin, seems to be held over from the 2024 administration. So maybe I need to reach back out to them because they're the ones that were helpful to me when Mr. Cook was there. So the Office of the Inspector General, an overview is that for my purposes, for our purposes here, that they have oversight standby. I mean, they kind of handle all the things. So jurisdiction, right. So the the Indiana Inspector General is responsible for investigating and addressing fraud, waste, abuse, and wrongdoing within the executive branch. So obviously the executive branch are things like the AG's office, right? So anything that sits under the executive. So includes authority, any authority, board, branch, commission, committee, department, division, or other instrumentality of the executive branch of Indiana state government. So again, it can't look into county level or what, unless it's a sort of tributary of a executive branch of Indiana government. So falling under the executive, say, versus the legislative or the judicial. So the Inspector General does not have jurisdiction over so judicial or legislative branch. Keep reading. I just got to keep reading. Over local or county government. Okay. State Ethics Commission has jurisdiction over 1, a current or former state officer. 2, a current or former employee of a state and agency. That's where the ISP comes in. That is a state agency, right? 3, a person who has a business relationship with a state agency. Ooh, that's interesting. Huh. Do we know anybody that has? And I don't know, but that's a very, very interesting back potential for a interesting. I wonder if there's anybody in this sort of area that has had a contract with the state of Indiana or an agency. So maybe that's something to think about as another route to seeing if we can't get information or investigation or insight into that. I mean, so to me, I think, well, does Nick McCleland's family or does, Jerry Holman have uh, a side gig doing whatever for a state agency? Does it do, does any, like, so meaning, I wonder if there's another sort of route to the waterfall, so to speak, aside from like the very obvious ISP angle. So then a person who has business right for a current or former special state appointee. Okay. Yep. So, yeah. They also have the Postal Service. This would be a fascinating angle to look into that letter that Mr. Allen wrote. ACLU, Indiana State Bar. That's always helpful. Public access. Again, this is somebody else. So public access. I also, I'm going to put this back up here. So when I wrote, I think that people can ask questions. So perhaps, and this is me just throwing it out there, because I do believe that everybody is a journalist. You might just be a journalist for your household. You might be the information distributor to your household. You don't have to identify yourself as that, but I think that if you put yourself in the mindset of what you perceive a journalist is able to do, that is something that that citizens anywhere are able to do. So when approaching these entities, I would recommend putting down your thoughts about what the issue is as you see it. That it doesn't need to be formal. It can be, you can reach out through the media department, whatever the case may be. But when you do that to whatever office, if it's your local or whatever office, the ISP, again, in this situation is kind of what we're talking about. I would also encourage people to copy the public access because, public records and meetings. Copy them. It may be the wrong thing, but the best response I got from an Indiana official was because I included them in the CC line of an email that was directed at the ISP. Now, I knew that they weren't probably the right people, but I don't care. What came out of that was getting some clarity on what oversight they did and did not have, if that makes any sense. You're welcome. Shadow of the Fridge. The dark underbelly of true crime, ethical blurgity flurgs, right? Is there anyone worth a damn to write to at the FBI? I don't know, man. Since they're doing, so should we call them? We can, right? Where's my cellular telephone? I mean, sure. I think that, here's another interesting thing. All right. And I'm just spitballing. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, I got no problem calling people. If you're a private citizen that I'm going to interview, I'm going to afford you the courtesy of saying, "Hey, can I record this? Can I do blah 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 blah?" If you're a public entity, I mean, uh, look, and this is education. Wait a second, let me do this. For educational purposes only. Okay, so that should do it, right? So that should take care of everything. So, all right, hang on. Let me see if wait, I'll be right back. All right, talk amongst yourselves, come up with an idea, and I'll be right back. Okay, what did you guys come up with? Fair. Right. Get over here. Come here. Boop, boop. Okay, let's see. One moment. What are we doing? Listen, this is the last thing I'm going to do because then I got to go feed my cat. You want me to call the FBI in Indiana? All right. What? I mean, so here, this is easy. We can do this. Actually, the FBI can be their people can be rather helpful. I mean, they're not going to give a comment. They're just not. But let me just look it up. Indiana. Is it Indianapolis? Or let's see what the field offices are. Oh, let's see. They're down in Carroll. It's got to be Carroll, right? Counties covered. So Indy? Oh, what? Okay. So, but Flora is in Carroll County still, right? Oh, it's Indianapolis? All right. Why am I in Illinois? Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Sorry. Let's see. Not Louisville. I wonder if we'd have 9 satellite offices. You don't say. Huh. Let me just give me a minute. One moment. Let's see. There's Indy. All right. Why the hell isn't there anything? Wait. So media coordinator. Did they do do you guys know if they did a press release? Does anybody know if they did a press release? Oh my God, do not call anybody's grandparents during Wheel of Fortune. So am I just asking them what? If they're investigating it? I mean, would that be more helpful, or would me calling Jody be more helpful? Okay, we can do both. Hang on. And again, this is something that everybody can do. It's not a big deal. So let's see what we got here. Okay, that they were now how okay, can somebody give me an idea of where to look? When did they announce it? I'm sorry I'm not up on this, you guys. Did they announce that they were reinvestigating, or I'm probably going to have to leave a message, but I'll call them. I don't see any fucking news release though. Oh God, I have so many windows open. God damn it. No official release. So how do we know? Okay. Flora, Fire, Indiana. I mean, okay. All right. Alrighty. Got it. 10-4. Wish TV. Sorry. Lies. WTHR. Let's see. Oh. FBI. Yeah. Okay. Speak with residents as part of an ongoing investigation. Okay. Got it. So we're asking them, we're going to ask them then about why. I'm just going to wing it. Okay. We're going to ask who asked them, if somebody asked them back in, and if there's new information. Let's see. I'm sure they won't give us information on some of it, but they will on others, I bet. So let's try 317 430, and then we'll call Jody next. 4140. And this is not to be a jerk, y'all. This is seriously like just something that everybody can do. It's okay. Okay.
You've reached Chris Babinger, Public Affairs Officer for FBI Indianapolis. Please leave a message or text your message to this number. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, my name is Andy Copsa, and I'm a reporter working on a story about the Flora fire. I will follow up via text as per your message and give you my question and my phone number. So thank you very much. Okay, that's easy. All right. So we'll see. So we'll text. Message. Following up. God damn it. I have my check. God damn it. Following up on call regarding Flora. Thank you so much. Okay. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Again, this is I'm giving a class right now on the education and the shit that people can do to call their public. This is my journalism class. A barf. Are you serious? All right. Well, I'm gonna have to dig into that a little bit more. Yep, got it. Thank you so much. All right. So, Jody, and again, I'm not doing this to be a dick. This seriously, like, I don't know. I hope people understand that. Like, this is legitimate work that journalists do all day long. And sometimes you get answers back, sometimes you don't. So if you want, it's great. You can put it on your podcast. Let's see. Let's go with Okay, and again, like I said, this is shit that people need to know about. You know, they need to feel comfortable calling these folks. Our public. Oh my God. Please email me your questions. Thanks, Chris. So we can do that. You guys want to email? You want to construct an email with me? That's quick. Thanks, Chris. Chris will do exclamation point. Okay. Let me just stay on target. I have other, you know what? I've got another idea. But let's look at Jody and just ask. I think it's important to find out why we're not getting the exhibits, because that's what was promised, right? So if you sent money to Jode, right? Let's see. Mm-hmm. What? All right, I'm having problems. Find contacts. Who the hell's Chris? Huh. What the hell's a court executive? Anybody? Interesting. Ooh, judge phone. So there's the clerk's office. Yeah, she did. But Jody's a clerk, right? Well, okay, so this, I don't know what this means. So, last name? Jody Williams. Okay. Got it. Huh. Well, that's weird. Yeah, that is weird. Huh. Actually, you know what though? Hang on, guys. I think that let me see. So Superior Court. So why do they have magistrate, but they have the clerk? Fuck it. I'm just gonna call and say, where the fuck's Jody? Is she on vacation? She might be on staycation. Look, I ain't got no beef with Jody. I don't know her, but let's just see. Because I think 260. Why do they have the judge phone number? That's stupid. Superior Court. All right, we're calling the clerk's office. One moment, please. 260 449. Let's see. It's a weird ring. Well, this is disappointing. You know what? Let's go up the food chain here a little bit. Let's see. $260. I gotta go feed my cat. 449. Or should we just send him a fax? I mean, should we Send them a teletype, telegram, passenger pigeon, or carrier pigeon. 76. That's really weird that they don't have an answering service, though. Okay. 7602. Let's try this.
Circuit Court, this is Jessica. How can I help you?
Yes, hi. I was trying to reach Jody Williams about some records.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm not sure if she's in court, but I'm going to get you over to the other assistant in her office. And
Great.
then she can maybe get her the message, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Here you go. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey. This is beautiful. I think this is the pan flute. Shit.
Elm Superior Court, this is Dawn. Can I help you?
Yes, hi. I was trying to reach Jody Williams about some records requests.
She is on vacation. I can transfer you to her voicemail.
Okay. Is there anybody else that might be able to? I guess first of all, do you know when she's going to be back?
She will be back the following week, the 21st.
Oh, okay. That answers some questions. Okay. No, we had just put in a request and sent a money order for some exhibits to the Richard Allen trial and had gotten the money order returned. And I'm just trying to figure out why that's happening.
It was probably one of a couple of things.
Okay.
It could be that whatever you were requesting was confidential.
Okay.
It could be that the money order was made out improperly.
Huh. Okay. And now I think this is the second time that this has happened. And my understanding, looking at the list, they weren't precluded or sealed. So maybe, okay.
If
Maybe
they were crime scene.
No, absolutely not. No, no, nothing that was filed under seal. Let me see here for 1 second. I've got the list because I know that it's been, a lot of work getting these out. So, let me
A
see.
lot.
I know.
A lot.
No, I totally get it.
I feel bad.
Huh? What?
I feel bad for her.
Well, yeah, I know it's a lot. But it's people want access to the public information. So, she's doing the Lord's work. Let me see here if I can pull it. Because I know that we had been told, let's see. Sorry. 1 second. I just want to try to get this answered here. If you can help me. It is, let's see. I'm glad she's on vacation though. It sounds like she's been.
Yes, it's a long overdue.
Long overdue. All right, I get that. Let me see. It is. All right. Here we go. It is. Oh, I see. Okay. So this is not anything that it's Defense Exhibit F, close up of unspent cartridge.
Those might have been the ones. There were some things that were never opened in court. So they were just in a evidence, so there wasn't an actual picture of it. Because like they would admit things and it'd be like in a sealed envelope.
Sure.
And it would say exhibit number, whatever, and what it was. And it was just, they never opened it in court or anything. It was just stayed sealed. So that could be it. I don't know for sure, but I know there were some things that were never opened in court.
They weren't filed under seal though. So I guess this came in through Dwayne Detzman.
You would have got a picture of an envelope.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think
So,
yeah. I guess I just don't, because I think these were entered in open court, F, G, H, and I. This is defense exhibit. And then there was, let's see, during Ryan Bunner, there was a PDF of the front page of his extraction report. And then there was the 30-second bridge guy video. I know nobody's gotten the video. And then 43-second. So, I mean, these were all things that were displayed in open court and they were not under the seal. So I guess I'm trying to understand that part of it, because these did come in. None of these are crime scene. So like testimony of Dan Doolin, sorry.
And I know sometimes, depending if certain names were mentioned in things, there's certain things that she had to go through, the amount of stuff she had to go through to determine if it was able to be, it was a lot. It was more than anybody anticipated. Yeah, I don't know exactly what all she could do, but sure. I know, because she sits in here with me. Yeah. So I know, and this was all her. Nobody has helped her with any of this. So no, I get it. Stuck on her.
Sure. But I guess I'm trying to figure out why. Well, I don't want to don't want to go through this again. So I want to understand why, who sealed, if they weren't, I guess I don't understand why these would be sealed. And there was no explanation with the return. So, and again, I have like 4 pages of things that were requested, and not all of these, should have been precluded from, from having access to them. Was there a separate court order? Is there something I can look for on, say, the docket, or because has there been a new order?
You'll have to talk to her about it, because this is all. I mean, this is her deal.
Sure.
With it being this case, I
get it.
Not touched anything with it.
All right,
and especially with all the crazy. Do I have a what?
How about a list of stuff that we can't have? Is that easier? Is there like a list of precluded items?
No, there's no list or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, just send her an email. And when she's back, she'll probably wait till she gets back to answer anything. But she'll be able to explain to you what.
Sure.
She'll be able to explain to you exactly what.
Yeah, why don't you put
reasoning?
Sure. Why don't you put me through to her voicemail too, and I'll follow up with the email.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the voicemail box of Jody Williams. Please record your message after the tone. When you're
Hi, my name is Andy Copson. I'm a reporter working on a story about the Delphi Richard Allen case. I'm trying to find out why there's a whole list of documentation that was supposed to be public that had been requested, have been returned. These are not crime scene photos. They're all, spent casings, etc. Nothing that wasn't entered in trial. If you could give me a call back, I know you're on vacation, so I hope you're enjoying that. But my number is all right. So anyway, so that's how that happens. So whatever. So now we all know. But I do have to go. My cat needs foods. She needs foods. But again, this is stuff that everybody can do. It's not a big deal. And everybody should just, Dawn sounded, hi, sweetie. You guys want to see the cat go outside? Can you still hear me? Hi. Come on. Get over here. Come here. Oh, she's been reduced to having to eat dry food. Okay. She's not coming. But so I hope that people do understand that they can do this. I mean, Dawn seemed like a nice enough lady. I don't know. I got nothing against her. I do think, though, that the answer is not, I have no idea why, but okay. So we'll see. I left a voicemail for Jody, but she is on vacation until the 21st. Oh, do you? Then try email, because here's the thing. I'm neurospicy autistic as hell. I hate everybody. As everyone knows, I hate everybody. I have a very difficult time making sense of what people are saying. But at a certain point, I picked a very weird occupation to hate people, but it also is partially my superpower. So maybe start in small bits. I don't know. Call somebody local. You don't have to go big, or write a script. Write yourself a script. Or email. Yes, absolutely. Email, 100%. But then again, don't listen to anything I ever fucking say, because I also don't know enough to, well, whatever. Anyway, but so people can call. So now just, give everything a Cecil, Indiana, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it was helpful. There's my cat. Shit, it's been 3 hours. Are you nuts? It's been, 2 hours, 25 minutes. What the fuck? This is stupid. All right. But since I'm retired now, from all of my bullshit, and apparently I've started drinking again, I guess I've got all the time in the world. If you know, you know. Anyway, so good luck to everyone doing that. You can leave me a note, Andy@andycapsule.com. There's some stuff in All Eyes file that has like draft letters of how to maybe construct stuff. So I believe that I've done all I can do. So anyway, all right. So, whatever. Yeah. I mean, fuck it. You